Good morning, everybody. Welcome to yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Let's begin standing in a wide stance so that your feet are generously wider apart than your hips distance as you parallel your feet and spread your toes. Now reaching your hands behind you so we can start to open up the chest and the fronts of the shoulders. Either interlace your fingers or grab something like a strap that you could hold between your hands so that your thumbs are pointing towards the outer sides of your body. And then bending your elbows closer together. Allow a deeper in-breath as you tilt your chest up to broaden your collarbones. And as you exhale, bend your knees at least a little bit and hinge forward slowly, elongating your spine rather than rounding. So if rounding begins to occur, you could choose to bend your knees a lot more to eliminate it. Now, as we hold here for a few more breaths, allow your skull to just hang heavily. You might even explore softly shaking, nodding your head, helping to relax if there's any tension held in your neck. And as you continue to lift your arms forward, moving away from your lower back, a slight bend in your elbows to help raise your shoulders up away from your neck. Allow more weight to shift towards the balls of your feet with your toes spread, not gripping your mat. So that maybe you start to feel even more your sitting bones lifting towards the sky. Now let's deepen the breath for 3 more cycles here, inhaling. And then to your mouth, whisper it out slowly. Even slower, inhale. Through your mouth, let it go. One more deep breath. And then your arms lower down in front of you so that your fingertips can press the ground or blocks ahead, lifting your chest so your spine lengthens halfway up. Pause here, and then bend your knees a lot more, placing your hands on your hips. Point your elbows towards the sky, and as you breathe in, lift from your chest to rise and stand. Now let's find a comfortable seat. Oh, hello, Val. Hello, Shoshana. So you probably hear me say a lot the importance within the physical practice to really tune into how you're feeling with balance within each posture, both the qualities of effort or exertion and ease or release and letting go. Well, a few days ago, I cited the Yoga Sutra, Book 2, verse 15. Change, longing, habits, and the activity of the gunas can all cause us suffering. In fact, even the wise suffer, for suffering is everywhere. I wanted to pull out gunas because we didn't really elaborate on it too much. So gunas is the concept in yoga philosophy that refers to the characteristics in which prakriti, or cosmic matter, can manifest. Now that might sound very abstract to you, but let's get more specific. There are 3 main gunas. One is rajas, which is the quality of activity and mobility that's responsible for movement. So if you have an excess of this quality, rajas, then you might feel overactivity. You might even lead to willful stubbornness. And then tamas is the second guna, and it's kind of on the opposite end. It's the quality of inertia and form, and it's often associated with feeling stuck, delusion, obscurity, even ignorance. And then the third guna is sattva, and that's considered often the goal of one's yoga practice, and it's the quality of clarity, of balance, of tranquility, and truth illumination. So we can view the gunas as a complete and functional system, which, when utilized wisely, brings us into balance. So I'm referring from an article here from Yoga Basics about how to balance the gunas within us. Now, 3 aspects in which we could balance them is in your asana practice, your physical postures, and even more specifically, choosing which postures you practice. Now, as we practice together as a class, I offer different variations of a pose, but you always have the freedom to come back into a more cooling stillness like child's pose, or you also have the option of venturing deeper into the pose and making it more rajasic, right? More active by including more vinyasas in between. So those are ways that you can tailor your yoga practice, but also choosing what kind of yoga practice is best for you in the energetic state that you're in. As we know, that fluctuates through the experiences of the day. Like tonight, I'll be teaching a very yin practice of stillness and cooling. And then the second area in which you can balance gunas is in your diet. Being mindful of how the foods and drinks, what you intake, affects your energy. Like rajasic foods tend to be very hot, spicy, fiery. They cause you to want to sweat, and there's metabolism being activated. And then there's tamasic foods, which are more dense, often like Thanksgiving dinner type of foods, right? Or root vegetables and potatoes. So if you're feeling very tumultuous in the mind, probably a rajasic diet like spicy foods is going to exacerbate that feeling of high energy in the mind. So you'd probably want to tone down with something more grounding. And then pranayama is the third way to balance your gunas. Choosing the breath work that helps you to slide more to the center between rajasic and tamasic. So if you're feeling high energy already, probably breath of fire might not be your choice because it activates that fiery energy. Probably alternate nostril breathing or a calm, slow, deep breath would be preferable. So knowing these, everything that I instruct in these classes, as you know, are optional. So as you pick and choose from the buffet, decide what you put on your plate, and then even afterwards, so importantly, is to evaluate how what you've put on your plate has affected the way you feel at the end of the practice. And then including in the other aspects, the diet, the nutrition, the movement. So just a food for thought as we dig a little deeper into yoga philosophy. Let's now come into a comfortable seat. We're going to begin our breath work practice. So if you like, you can even slip a pillow or blanket underneath your pelvis if you're feeling any tightness in the hips. And then lift your rib cage and actually use your hands to find the lowest portion of your ribs. And see if you can lift up your rib cage, especially your back ribs, as you firm downward through your pelvis, both left and right sides. So that maybe you feel a little more lengthening in your lower spine and your abdomen gently contracts. Now continue those two opposite actions of grounding and lifting. And then do shrug your shoulders as you take an inhale and broaden the chest to rotate the shoulders back. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders down and now release your hands onto your lap. Lifting up through the back of your skull, tilt your chin slightly towards your chest, maintaining an open space at your throat. And then maybe close your eyes here. We're going to begin with a calming, deepening breath work, 3-part breath, Durga Pranayama. And for those of you that are feeling very fiery and rajasic today, maybe you stay with that breath work. And those of you that need a little more heat, we're going to move into breath of fire. So let's place the left hand now on your chest, the right hand on your belly, and we're going to go right into the 3-part breath. Let me explain it. We'll inhale 1/3 into the stomach, pause. Then we'll inhale 1/3 into your side ribs, pause. Then we'll inhale into your chest. We'll hold the breath while observing the body relaxed and tall. And then we'll exhale slowly through the nose, all the way out. We'll hold the breath a few seconds. That's one cycle. So let's begin. Into your belly, inhale 1/3. Into your side ribs, inhale 1/3. Into your chest, inhale last third. As you hold the breath, observe your body and relax. Exhale slowly through your nose. Hold your breath out and again observe. Again into your belly, 1/3. Into your side ribs, 1/3. Into your chest, last third. Hold your breath in. Then exhale everything slowly. Hold your breath out. Now continue repeatedly a few more rounds of this on your own. But for those of you who want to add a little more fire, more Rajasic side, we're going to move into breath of fire by just placing the hands on the stomach and focusing on breathing into the belly, mouth closed, so that the belly expands, but you accentuate your exhalation of contracting the belly as you breathe out through the nose. So it sounds like short, quick breaths, like you're blowing your nose quickly, like this. So those of you that are entering breath of fire with me, I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute of that. Otherwise, please continue with 3-part breath on your own. Breath of fire, ready, begin. Observe in breath of fire that you're maintaining a coolness in your upper body, neck, shoulders, head, while you're cultivating warmth in your belly and lower body. Mouth is closed. And relax whichever breath work you're practicing. Allow a moment to observe the effects of that pranayama. And then slow your breath down into Ujjayi pranayama, victorious breath, where you're gently narrowing the back of your throat so that you create a whispering sound as you breathe in and out through your nose, balancing the lengths of your breath smoothly. And as you feel the continuous rise and fall of your breath, gently open your eyes and let's lower onto hands and knees. Setting your hands down with your wrists slightly in front of your shoulders, like 2 inches ahead. Place your knees under your hips and let's begin to move the body in cat-cow, stretching your spine. As you inhale, glide forward before coiling your chest up and rolling your shoulders down. Cow pose. As you exhale, contract your belly, press down with your hands to help dome your back, dropping your skull in cat pose. And then keep going at your slow, steady pace of breath. A few more cycles. Remember that this movement, cat-cow pose, is an optional alternative to a full vinyasa, which we're about to do, which includes plank, lowering down into cobra or upward dog, if you're looking for a more cooling practice. So on your next exhale, tuck your toes, spread your fingers wide, and lift your pelvis as high as you can, arriving in downward facing dog. Now see that your feet are at least hips width apart and parallel, and then bend your knees so much that you feel your sitting bones stick up towards the sky. And keep lifting them as high as possible. Now bring your attention to the front of your thighs. At the very top of the front of your thighs, begin to press back towards your rear wall. Lowering your heels towards the earth. They might not fall all the way down, and that's fine. You might even keep your knees bent to keep the lift of your hips. And now relaxing your neck, rotate the outer sides of your upper arms towards the ground to help broaden across your shoulders as you firm your belly towards your back. Feel the lift of tailbone up and back. Feel the grounding of spreading your fingers flat onto your mat. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Now entering a vinyasa. As you inhale, glide forward into plank pose, stacking your shoulders directly above your wrists. Look on the ground ahead. Now you can lower the knees for more support if needed. As you exhale, glide forward, bend your elbows back to hug your side ribs, lowering slowly to the ground. Point the tops of your feet firmly on the mat so the knees are lifted, pelvis stays grounded. And as you inhale, coil your chest up, but look on the floor ahead in cobra. Soften the shoulders down. Press the mat away as you exhale to lift your hips again, returning to downward facing dog. So that short sequence in itself is called a vinyasa. Let's take 3 more breaths here, and we'll begin to flow more continuously. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look forward past your fingertips. Now, at the end of your exhalation, I invite you to hold your breath out, lift your pelvic floor and engage your lower belly so that you can walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat in a forward fold. As you inhale, press the ground ahead or your legs, and lifting your chest, look forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bowing from your hips, you might bend your knees to find the most length in your spine. Firming down to your feet, inhale, sweep your arms overhead to rise up. Watch your palms touch. Exhale, trace your thumbs down to your heart center, releasing the arms in Tadasana. So we're gonna take a variation of Sun Salutation B, or to integrate opening the hips, as is our theme this week. Begin with your feet hips width, parallel, and then bend your knees into a modified chair, sitting towards your heels. Raise the arms forward and up, breathe in. As you exhale, hinge forward, leaning more towards your toes, bow in. Press the ground or your legs, and inhale as you lift the chest forward, firm your belly towards your spine, engage the fronts of your thighs. Lower your hands flat on the earth, stepping into your version of plank pose. Exhale, glide forward with control in the belly, slowly lower, either into cobra or upward facing dog. Firm down to the tops of your feet and inhale to broaden and lift your chest. Exhale, lift your sitting bones high, shift your weight back, downward facing dog. As you inhale, raise your right leg behind you. We're gonna add a little variation. As you exhale, bend your right knee and turn open at your right hip. Staying here as you inhale, tack your left hip further back. Then exhale, slow and controlled, step your right foot directly between your hands. Warrior 2, spin your back heel to the ground and generally align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. On an inhale, windmill your arms to rise up. Arms wide open, gaze past your right hand. As you exhale, straight, firm your quadricep, flipping your right palm up to sweep overhead towards your rear wall, reverse triangle. Left hand is lightly on left leg. As you inhale, reach the right hand forward, scissor your hips towards your rear wall, and lower your right hand on your right leg, left arm towards the sky, triangle. Look down at your right foot, then cartwheel your hands to frame it, stepping into plank. Choose to either practice cat-cow or a full vinyasa at your own pace of breath. Now meeting again in downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. As you exhale, bend your knee and open at your hip. Staying here, inhale, tack your right hip back. Control through the belly. Exhale, set your left foot directly between your hands. Spin your right heel down, align heel to arch. Then inhale, cartwheel your arms to rise into Warrior 2, looking past your left hand. As you exhale, straighten your left leg, firm the quadricep, flip the left palm up. And sweep the arm overhead to lean back into a side stretch. As you inhale, keep the legs straight and reach the left hand forward for triangle pose. Sweeping your pelvis towards your rear wall, right hand towards the sky. Then look down at your left foot and cartwheel your two hands to frame it. Plank pose, choose your vinyasa or cat-cow. And again, we'll meet in downward facing dog. And if you're feeling like the heat of the day, especially if you're in LA, is taking a toll on you, remember that you always have the option to not flow in between and to go straight to downward facing dog. Being as creative as you need to be as we find that sattvic state of balance. Downward dog, let's take 3 more deep breaths here, and we'll continue with the same sequence, 2 more cycles. Allowing your focus to steady on a steady rhythm of breath. Trust your body to move in synchronization in a practice of moving meditation. With bent knees, look ahead of your hands. At the end of your breath, lift your pelvic floor and lightly land at the top. With feet hips distance, inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, circle your arms, gaze up, palms touch. Exhale, trace your thumbs to your heart in mountain pose. Bend your knees. Inhale, chair, modified, lean back towards your heels. Exhale, shift forward and bow towards the earth. Inhale, press with your hands and lengthen your spine forward. Plant your hands and either float back into chaturanga, step to plank, or lower to hands and knees, adding your own version of flow. Arriving in downward dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, bend your knee and open at your hip. Stay here as you inhale. Tack your left hip further back. Exhale, lightly step your right foot between your hands, dropping your back heel flat. Heel to arch. Inhale, windmill your arms, rising to warrior 2. Straighten your right leg. Exhale, sweep the right arm back into reverse triangle. Inhale, reach the right arm forward, lowering onto the right leg in triangle. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame your right foot, stepping to plank and lowering into your vinyasa. Continuing at your pace of breath. Arriving in downward dog, side 2. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, bend your knee and open at your hip. Inhale, tack your right hip further back. Exhale, gently step your left foot between your hands and drop your right heel, heel to arch. Inhale, windmill your arms to rise into warrior 2. Straighten your legs and exhale, sweep the left arm overhead to reverse triangle. Inhale, reach the left hand towards your front wall, down into triangle. Exhale, lower your hands to frame your left foot, following your flow of choice. We'll meet in downward facing dog for several breaths. Allow your body to be still as you expand awareness through it. When you're ready to wrap this up for our last round, bend your knees and look forward. At the bottom of the breath, lift your pelvic floor and lightly land at the top. Inhale, lift your chest and lengthen forward. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, bend your knees and lean back towards your heels, modified chair. Exhale, rise up to stand. Last time, same sequence. Go at your own pace, but I'll cue you just in case. Inhale, sit back, modify chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway. Float to chaturanga or step through plank as you breathe out. Inhale, lift your chest, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, bend the knee, turn open at your hip. Inhale, tack your left hip further back. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, windmill your arms to rise, warrior two. Exhale, reverse triangle, straighten the right leg and lean towards your rear wall. Inhale, regular triangle, reach towards your front wall, left arm towards sky. Exhale, frame your right foot, stepping into plank, continue into your vinyasa. Last side, when you're ready, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, turn open at the hip. Inhale, tack your right hip further back. Exhale, set your left foot between your hands. With right heel down, inhale, cartwheel your arms to warrior two. Straighten your left leg. Exhale, reverse triangle. Reach the left hand towards your front wall. Inhale, regular triangle. Lower your two hands to the earth. Exhale, plank into your vinyasa. Embracing stillness and downward dog, recalibrate the sound rhythm of your breath. Now, before we wrap up this round, we're going to insert a little something here to help release the spine a bit more. As you inhale, raise your right leg behind you, and this time balance the height of your two hips, flex your right foot. And as you exhale, come forward to plank, balancing your shoulders, cross your right knee to tap your left elbow or tricep. Feel the twist happen at your waistline, then set your right foot forward inside of your right hand. Stay on the ball of your back foot, coming into a high lunge. Separate your feet hips width apart and parallel to each other. Now bring the energy into your legs without visibly moving them. Like you're dragging your feet towards each other, feel a slight lift of your pelvic floor, a balance in your hips. Keep that and start to rise up into crescent lunge. Now you could maintain a bend in your left knee to help slightly lift your frontal hip bones so that the bowl shape of your pelvis doesn't feel like it's spilling forward. And in lifting the frontal hip bones, notice your ability to uplift your spine and especially create more space in your lower back. Still drawing your right hip slightly towards your rear wall and your left hip slightly forward. Balance your two hips. Feel stability through your legs as you raise your arms. As you steady your gaze ahead, let's listen to 3 more cycles of breath. Preparing for a spinal twist, bring your right thumb to the outer crease of your right hip, pressing it downward. Lift your left thigh away from the floor and inhale, stretch your spine forward diagonal. Either lower your left hand to the ground or block inside of your front leg, or hook your left elbow, maybe with the help of your right hand carrying it outside of your right thigh. If the latter, you could join your hands in prayer at your heart or open your arms apart. Now as you breathe in, find stability through that inner energetic action of scissoring the legs while growing your spine forward. And as you exhale, firm your outer hips towards your midline while rotating your chest further. As we stay for about 3 more breaths exploring this twist, I invite you to mentally scan your body. You feel a balance of exerting, effort, as well as release and letting go. Now looking down at your right foot, lower your 2 hands to the ground inside of it as we enter lizard lunge. Lowering your left knee to the floor, scoot your right foot a couple inches closer to the right edge of your mat. Now as you have your hands down, notice if your shoulders begin to shrug towards your neck. That might indicate that you could use a platform to rest your hands on, like yoga blocks, adjusting the height of them so that you can breathe comfortably and not add any tension in your neck and shoulders. But here, let's go ahead and flex your right foot, stabilize your right knee, and with the help of your right hand, gently press open the inner top side of your right thigh so that you splay your right thigh open and see that you're leaning your weight onto the outer knife edge of your right foot without collapsing into the ankle like what I just did now. So not collapsing, but just leaning. And then as you stretch your spine forward, like we did in preparation of the twist, breathe in and draw your shoulders down your back. And as you breathe out, scissor your right outer hip towards the rear edge of your mat and see if you could even spiral your chest open to the right, adding a little bit more of that previous twist. Now, if you're looking for more sensation in your right hip, you could lower onto your left forearm with or without blocks. Letting your body be still, feel the flow of your breath. 3 more cycles here. Now look at the ground in front of you and begin to lower your 2 hands there, maybe on blocks. Lifting your right knee, come into that lizard lunge with your legs parallel. Preparing for a wide-legged version of half split, flex your right foot again, lifting the toes, and then plug your right thigh bone back, deeper into the hip socket. While simultaneously reaching your chest forward, feel a lengthening equally on both sides of your torso, left and right. And the same in your neck as you press the shoulders back. Pressing the mound of your right big toe forward, flare the pinky toe back, and feel your right quadricep, front muscle of the thigh, engage, as if your right kneecap was lifting slightly towards your frontal hip bone. Be aware of not locking your knee though. So here as we open up the hamstrings, inner thigh, and a little more of the hips and lower back, let's take 3 more deep breaths. If you can do so without tensing your shoulders, you can explore walking your hands forward and bowing deep. Taking your time to transition out, rebend your right knee, plant your hands flat on the earth, and step your right knee behind you. If you need to move for a moment, feel free to take your own flow of cat-cow vinyasa. Otherwise, let's meet in downward facing dog again. Feel your breath, hear your breath. Second side. Now balancing your hips, inhale, raise your left leg behind you and flex the foot. Balancing your shoulders, exhale, cross your left knee to tap your right elbow or tricep, shoulders over wrists. Feel the twist at your waistline, then set your left foot down inside of your left hand for a high lunge. Feet hips width apart and parallel, bend your front knee just over the heel. Energize your legs, pretending as if you're dragging them towards each other without visible movement. As you press down through both feet, start to rise up into crescent lunge. And then here you might bend your right knee to help balance your pelvic bowl upright, allowing more length in your lower spine with the firmness of your belly. And then still drawing your left hip slightly behind you, your right hip slightly forward. Allow both hip bones to evenly face forward. Then steady your eyes in one spot ahead. 3 more breaths. Now let's prepare for the twist, placing your left thumb on the outer crease of your left hip. Draw that downward. Lift your right thigh upward. And as you inhale, lengthen your spine forward. At your waistline, exhale, twist to your left, either lowering the right hand on the floor or a block directly under your right shoulder, or hooking your right elbow, perhaps with the help of your left hand, outside of your left thigh, hands in prayer or arms apart. Then that inner action of scissoring them while lengthening your spine forward as you inhale. Firm your outer hips towards your midline and continue to twist at your waistline as you exhale. As we explore your twist for 3 more breaths. Again, I invite you to mentally scan your energetic approach throughout your body as they're tensing in areas that don't need to. Sometimes in the face or the shoulders or the breath. And conversely, is there effort in the areas where you do need it? Stability and twisting. Now look at the floor inside of your left foot and carefully lower your 2 hands. Lower your right knee for lizard lunge. Scoot your left foot to your left, about 2 more inches. And then decide if it's beneficial to have props under your hands, preferably the same height under each. Now, as you flex your left foot, stabilize your left knee and use your left hand on the top inner side of your left thigh to gently splay your left thigh open, thus leaning the outer edge of your foot onto the floor. Be aware that you're not collapsing your left outer ankle to the floor. Now feel your right shoulder joint. As I'm demonstrating here, this congestion in the right shoulder joint can look like you're shrugging your right shoulder and really just putting a lot of weight on it. If that's happening, press down and lift up. Do that rooting to rise counter force energies to create space in that joint. Or maybe it's indication that you could go down to your forearm and add some depth into the hip opener. Now adding a little more of the same twist, you could turn your chest towards your left wall, maybe even look behind you towards the rear of your mat, allowing 3 more breaths to feel how your body responds to this pose. Now look at the ground before you and either use your blocks or hands on the floor. Let's prepare for that wide-legged version of half split. Parallel your legs again in a lunge. And then from there, with the left foot still on the outside of your left arm, curl your left toes up and plug your left thigh bone back, deeper into its hip socket, while reaching your chest forward to equally lengthen left and right sides of your torso and neck. Now breathing in, broaden your chest and slide your shoulders back. Lengthen your crown forward. Breathing out, feel stability of squaring your hips while you might bow further. Now as you're flexing your left foot, press your big toe mound forward and flare your pinky toe back towards your outer knee. Engage the front muscle of your left thigh as if trying to lift your kneecap towards your hip bone. This allows more space in the back of your knee joint, helping the lengthening of your hamstring. But be cautious of not locking your knee. Let's take 3 breaths in Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Begin to bend your left knee as you're ready, stepping back into plank if you're choosing to flow through a vinyasa, or lowering onto hands and knees, perhaps take some cat-cows or a child's pose. How are you attending to your body's energetic needs, your mind's energetic needs? Let's meet in downward dog after that. Smoothen out your breaths. About 3 more cycles. Now, as you bend your knees a lot, lift your hips and heels, look past your hands, and at the bottom of your exhale, lightly land at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold in. Bring your feet to touch this time. Bend your knees together and sit back towards your heels, inhaling into chair pose. Then very slowly, perhaps taking a few breaths, lower your pelvis onto the ground, lifting your feet into boat pose. Yep, we were just practicing a little bit of yin and cooling. Here's a little bit of heat and warming. So relax the shoulders down. You could hold on to your legs. You could straighten or bend the knees. Flex or point your feet and deepen your breaths. Calm, steady breathing. About 4 more cycles here in Navasana. Feel a lift of your pelvic floor. A similar action to imagining as if you're zippering the lower belly in towards your spine and up towards your heart. Feel relaxation at your neck and shoulders, your jaw and face. Last breath here. Then start to lower your feet flat onto the earth. From down to your feet, keep extending your arms forward with the palms face up, and then lift through the crown of your head. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, slowly lower your back onto the earth. Now, if you have a strap and you have any tightness in your hamstrings or hips still, good idea to grab that strap. I'm gonna go ahead and start with it, just in case. And then slide let's go ahead and bend both knees to start. So both feet are on the ground. Bend your right knee into your chest and step the ball of your right foot into your strap. If there's a loop on it, you can use the loop. Now, if you don't have a strap, you can catch hold of your ankle with your right hand, placing your right arm on the inside of your right leg. And then straighten your right leg towards the sky. Flex your right foot as you pull the strap or as you're holding your leg. Make sure that your 2 shoulders, your 2 hips are evenly grounded. Now placing your left hand on the very top of your left thigh, slide your left leg forward towards straight and flex your left foot. It might require you to bend your right knee if there's resistance in the hamstring. Now begin to turn out like you're turning a doorknob, which is your right thigh bone at the hip, your right to face your right wall. That's external rotation of your femur. Keep grounded. Begin to open your right leg slowly, like you're opening a door after you've turned the doorknob. Breathing consciously as you keep your 2 hips, 2 shoulders balanced on the floor, and you're flexing both feet. Holding this position, supine, hand to big toe pose. For 2 last breaths, imagine you're doing this standing upright. The floor is a reference point for you to stack your shoulders evenly above your 2 hips. Slowly bring your right leg back to center, rebend the right knee, and remove the strap. Now let's step both feet on the floor for side 2. Bend your left knee into your chest and Either step the ball of your left foot into the strap or bring your left arm inside of the leg and catch hold of your ankle. Now, as you flex your left foot, straighten your left leg upright, pull the strap down, and begin to slide your right leg forward on the ground, flexing both of your feet. Place your right hand on the top of your right thigh, just under the hip bone, and continue to use the ground as a reference point, that you're balancing your two hips by pressing them both evenly against the floor, and that you're balancing your two shoulders above your two hips by pressing them evenly against the floor. Now, as you steady your breath, begin to externally rotate your left thigh bone at the hip. Like you're turning the doorknob before you open the door, point your left knee and toes towards your left wall. Now start to open your left leg slowly, just to the degree that you can still feel the equal weight of left and right sides of your pelvis and left and right sides of your shoulders. Notice the quality of your breath, demonstrating the energetic approach you're taking. One more breath here in Supta, Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Then lift your left leg up, remove the strap, but hold on to it, and bend your knees into your chest. Begin to rock forward and back, building enough momentum to eventually rise up to stand. So yes, now let's try the same posture standing up, now that we've created a blueprint within our bodies for reference. Step your feet to touch. If you're using a strap, step the ball of your right foot into it. Left hand to hip, either way. Press down with your left foot. Feel the center line of your body, shoulders balanced over two hips balanced. Steady your gaze on something as you breathe consciously and lift your right, flex the foot, right knee is bent. If you're holding the ankle or the big toe, bring your arm inside of the leg. Maybe you're clasping the big toe with your peace fingers. Keep the foot flexed. As you balance your two hips, begin to straighten the right leg forward, just the amount that your shoulders can stay balanced over your hips. Breathe in and press the ground, stand tall. Now start to turn the doorknob. Rotate your right thigh bone externally towards the right. Then slowly open the door, open your right leg and left arm to counterbalance. Feel how your two shoulders stay in line with your two hips, and you balance the bowl of your pelvis upright. Breathe in, breathe out, hand to big toe pose. Slowly bring your right leg forward and slowly step it down. Let it go. Nice job. So grab your strap if you used it for side two. Step the ball of your left foot into it. Right hand to your right hip either way. Feel your center line, feel the ground, feel your breath. Now bend your left knee and flex the foot. If you're not holding a strap, bring your arm inside the leg and catch your ankle or clasp your big toe. Keep flexing the foot. Steady your bowl, your pelvic bowl, and start to extend your left leg forward, just to the degree that your left shoulder can stay in line with your hip. Now turn the doorknob, rotate your left thigh bone externally. Slowly as you breathe, open the door, open the left leg and right arm to counterbalance. Feel the center line of your body as you root into the earth. Expand and stand tall. Easy breaths. Hand to big toe pose. Now bring your left leg slowly to center. Really nice concentration. And then step it down and dance it out. You did it. Woohoo! We did it. Let's come to stand with your feet wide, wide, like we did in the beginning. Parallel. Bring your hands to your hips this time. Inhale, lift your chest. Take a deep breath. Exhale, hinge from your hips and lower your hands. Now play with your choice of inverting here. If you practice headstand, tripod, you can walk your hands back. If you prefer dolphin pose, you can lower to hands and knees and set that up on your own. If you want more spinal twist, you can walk your hands forward and raise one arm. Keep your pelvis leveled as you twist at your waist. Take a few breaths on each side. You've got so many options in this buffet of inversions. You could also clasp your big toes and pull yourself a little deeper into the fold while lifting the shoulders up, dropping the head low. And wherever you are on your inversion journey, give yourself at least 5 more breaths in the posture you've chosen. Taking your time, especially if your feet are on the floor, to gradually lower your feet onto the earth again. And if you're already there, walk your hands forward. Come up just halfway. Remember that you don't want to lift your head up too quickly after it's been upside down for a while. Just come to that halfway point, at least take a breath. And then with hands on hips, bend your knees and lead with your chest, inhaling to rise. Let's lower onto our back slowly for Setu Bandha Sarvangasana bridge pose. Just one round. Now, if you're feeling like you're ready to really make this a yin posture, grab a block or something like it and place it under your sacrum, whatever height you need, and this is your pose, restorative bridge. Otherwise, you could hug that block between your thighs, skinniest width, set of an active bridge for your count of 5 to 10 breaths. Arms down by your sides, feet located where you could almost reach your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Grounding your feet parallel, your shoulders, tilt your chin slightly back, lifting your pelvis. Reach your thighs forward, walk your upper arms under your back ribs, and maybe clasp your hands as you press your outer upper arms into the earth. Remember, the physical posture enables expansion of your lungs, so take advantage of that in this pose. Deep inhalations, relaxing exhalations. And when you decide that you're done, use an exhalation to gently lower your spine and pelvis to the ground. Try not to hug your knees just yet. In fact, when your pelvis is on the earth, add a little gentle moving twist where you just drop both knees to the left, then slowly drop both knees to the right several times. And you might enjoy a lower back and glute massage against the floor. Now one more posture, eagle pose. Haha, lying down. So bend your knees and lift your feet off the floor. Turn out your right leg so you can cross it over your left leg as much as you can. You might even be able to tuck your right toes behind your left calf. It's okay if you don't. And then cactus bend your elbows apart first before crossing your left elbow over the right. Either give yourself a hug or hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Now slide your shoulder blades down your back ribs and lift your elbows and forearms towards the sky. Elbows in line with your shoulders, not higher or lower. Feel the broadening across your shoulder blades as you might visualize sending your breath there into the backs of your lungs. Feel your knees and elbows trace the midline of your body for 2 more deep breaths. Supine eagle pose. As you might remember, we often do this posture as a standing balance. When you're ready to take flight here on the ground, use an exhale to unravel your arms and legs open and switch the cross of your legs. You might tuck your left toes behind the right calf. And starting with cactus arms, cross the right elbow over the left. Give yourself a hug, hook your thumbs, or wrap your forearms and palms. Sliding your shoulder blades down your back. Align your elbows with your shoulders, not higher or lower than them. And press your forearms towards the sky. Feel the space in your neck. Broaden the space between your shoulder blades with your breath. And feel the weight of your pelvis towards the tailbone, anchoring onto the ground. Last 2 deep breaths. With your last exhale here, I invite you to take a deep sigh and really spread your wings, open your legs into happy baby pose. Last posture before Shavasana. If you want to rock it, feel free. Keep drawing your tailbone and shoulders towards the earth. And when you're ready, begin to lower your body into the most comfortable position where it can just be still and effortless, including your breath. Effortless, that is. Close your eyes and settle in to appreciate the aftermath of your physical practice. body remains still, just allow a moment here before you move it. Observe in the choices you made in your physical practice, the energetic state of your body. And the energetic state of your mind. And as you allow your breaths to softly deepen, begin to move your body easily. In your time, you might bend your knees into your chest and turn slowly to your right side, pressing your hands into the earth, rising to sit. And just as we spend a moment to reflect upon the energetic effect of our choices in breathing, in physical postures, and in what we choose to focus on, I invite you to bring that sense of awareness into your activities throughout this day, observing where you might lean towards that rajasic activity, energy, or towards that tamasic inertia, stillness. Seeking that place of balance of sattva. Let's join the hands together and close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.